Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sporting Plug. It's time for another week of Premier League predictions. I do believe it's week 10. We're already a quarter of the way for the football season, at least the Premier League season. And there's been a lot of ups and downs. Myself and Roger Sears will attempt to once again predict the Premier League fixtures for this week. So, opening up on Friday. Oh, before I start, how's your bum after the Chelsea draw?
Yeah, right. Wow,
Tell you what, you won't play worse than that and still get a result. You were
uh,
dreadful. And then
mm,
just turned it on for 5 minutes and got a draw, which says a
yeah,
lot about Chelsea as a team that if you play well, yeah, they're not going to get much from you. But also says a lot about Arsenal. There needs to be a motivation there. So
yeah.
but yeah, it was quite the watch, watching that in retrospect after the show. So Friday night, your friends down the road, Tottenham, will be visiting Crystal Palace.
I can't see anything other than a Spurs win. Uh,
Dare I say the
2-0.
best team in the Premier League right now?
They're most definitely the most informed team right now, aren't they? Yeah, I can't see anything other than a win and pretty comfortable. 2-0 Spurs.
I reckon 1-0. I think Palace have been playing some decent football, but they just lack that bit of quality. Man, Roy Hodgson, I watched him on Match of the Day last week. He looks so old. Like you know when someone's so old that you just think, go home and relax. Like he just the man. He looks how I feel every day. Poor Roy. But yeah, Tottenham to win 1-0. In the early kickoff on Saturday, Chelsea are at home to Brentford. This is a West London derby as well.
Yeah. Brentford have been a bit hit and miss, haven't they, this season? Chelsea look like they might be coming into some form, but then they did throw away a 2-0 lead to us.
Brentford look really good against Burnley, but then it's Burnley, so small
Yeah, yeah.
size, but they look very competent. It looks like they're really starting to come to the forefront in terms of how they play their football. Uh, yeah, weird one.
I,
What do you
I,
think?
I think Chelsea are going to edge it. I'm going 2-1 Chelsea.
Yeah, I think Chelsea just about edge it. I think it's one of those games where Chelsea win, all of a sudden they seem to have steadied the ship quite a bit. 2 wins and a draw in their last three fixtures. If they win here, all of a sudden we're sort of, okay, stop pressing the panic button in it. Like we can relax a bit. Dare I say, the more form and the more confidence they get, the more dangerous they're going to be at the back end of the season. You could see them charging towards the Europa League spot. And Pochettino is a good manager. There's no getting away from that. It's a matter of waiting to see what he can achieve with it. But I think Chelsea edge out Brentford 1-0. 1-0. Arsenal are at home to Sheffield United. This has got to be your easiest fixture of the season, surely.
On paper, it says Arsenal spanking Sheffield United, doesn't it, really? But
Was a
the
banana skin on the
reality of
floor.
the situation is that's not Arsenal's style. um, God, God. I
Good
think
win
we'll win it.
this week. Good win against Sevilla at Sevilla and the
Yeah.
Ramon Sanchez Pizjuan. Been there myself. Wonderful stadium. Yeah, good win. Gabriel Jesus forced off injured, but I do believe only a minor injury, which is good. So,
Yeah.
but digestive biscuit, yeah, doubtful for this game
Yeah.
because you
Yeah,
need
well,
Gabriel Jesus apparently to beat Sheffield United.
apparently so. Um,
I think you'll cruise this one, to be fair.
no, I don't know. It's one of those games to me which is like we should absolutely trounce them, but this is us we're talking about, and we'll probably end up making it a lot harder than it needs to be. I think we'll win it 3-1, but it'll be one of those where we'll probably go a goal down early, get the 1-1, and then in the last 10 minutes or something, we'll put another couple in. But yeah, I'm going 3-1. Just we'll make it harder than we should.
Yeah, I reckon they'll win 3-0. I will say the Sheffield United played very well against Man United, last weekend. We're very unlucky not to get something out of that game. United had just that extra bit of quality in that jamming. United are jamming some right fucking results right now to keep themselves relevant. I mean, it says a lot that they're having to scramble over Sheffield United and Brentford to stay,
Yeah.
afloat. So, yeah, I think Arsenal will be comfortable. Bournemouth are at home to Burnley, and Bournemouth, of course, I believe the only team yet to get a win in the Premier League. starting to look like Bournemouth actually are right there with Luton as, pretty bad
Yeah,
side, which is a real shame because they seem to be in games a little bit more, but they're just not getting anything. They've got no quality, have they, going forward?
no, they're not getting the results at all, are they? They definitely look like they're in danger now. It's
Yeah,
gone on
losing to
too long
Wolves
already.
as well.
Yeah,
That was kind of like the relegation derby. If you win that, you've got a chance. And losing to Wolves at home, especially with your old manager coming back and Gary O'Neill, that's got to sting a lot more. So confidence
yeah,
is going to be
definitely.
low. And but then Burnley obviously struggling as well. I believe have only got one win as well. So it's like,
Yeah,
there's not a
they
lot of
play a
competition.
little, don't
But
they?
Burnley
But
play good football, don't they?
they do. That's the thing. I think it's got draw written all over it for me. I think Bournemouth will get something from it, but I mean, mind you, I predicted them to get something last weekend, and it didn't happen, did it? I'm
I got
going one
Burnley to
all.
win.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got a draw, have you? Four draw?
I'm going one apiece.
I got Burnley to win 1-0. Again, a lot of 1-0s this weekend. They look like very tight games to me, which means put your money on loads of goals. But I just look at Burnley. I think they got a little bit more quality and a little bit more. They're more adventurous. But when Bournemouth are adventurous, they're not a bad side to watch either with Solanke and others. So oh, I'll say Burnley to win, but yeah, it does certainly look like a draw. But this is a must-win for both teams. Like if
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
I know we're still early doors, but already it's very evident who is bad and who's down the bottom. Luton, Bournemouth, Burnley, and some of these teams down the bottom, to their credit, actually play good football. So
Hmm.
Burnley is one of those where you think kind of would be nice to see them do something. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, but Bournemouth I'll worry about. So the
yeah.
afternoon kickoff, Wolves, who seem to be finding a naughty little bit of form all of a sudden out of nowhere. Obviously, beating Bournemouth isn't spectacular, but they did beat Manchester City as well. They've made it difficult for some teams. And now they host Newcastle Saturday afternoon, who are on fire. I personally think Newcastle are cruising. I think Wolves are kind of yeah,
Yeah,
this is a
yeah,
fraud. I'm a bit
I'd
bit
agree.
bit annoyed that this is the afternoon kickoff, to be honest. But
Right,
just because Wolves bore the shit out of me. But yeah, I
yeah.
fancy Newcastle to roll them 3-0.
Yeah, I'm going 2-0, and only on the basis that, like you said, Wolves seem to be picking up a few results, so I think they'll make it a little bit harder. Had Wolves been playing the way we kind of expected them to after the tail end of last season, I'd have thought Newcastle would walk this 5 or 6, but
Yeah.
I'm going 2-0 myself.
Wolves, to their credit, are very resilient. That's one thing
Yeah,
I have to give them a lot of credit for. And we saw that last season. They really are resilient. Like they just seem to stick around, Like so yeah, man, Newcastle will win, but I think that Wolves will at least give it a good go. Sunday fixtures, West Ham are at home to Everton. I've got West Ham to win 2-0 because it's Everton in it and they annoyed it. Although to be fair, Everton got really unlucky, didn't they, against Liverpool? They were, and I gotta be honest, very stupid. Like terrible refereeing. Everton was
yeah,
shafted last weekend by bad refereeing decisions. For anyone who saw it, the referee, gave a red card, a second yellow offence to an Everton player. Then the Liverpool player did exactly the same goddamn thing and got nothing. And in that time, obviously, they were broken down with 10 men, and eventually just, kind of Liverpool just pinched it at the end, really. I think Everton should have got a draw out of that game. That being said, they're away. They're to West Ham, who are a good footballing side. I think West Ham win.
You see, I was leaning that way, and then looking back over the battering that West Ham got last weekend, um, I think Everton are going to surprise people. I think it's going to be one of those shock results, but I'm going to draw. I don't think Everton will win it, but I think they'll get a point out of it. And yeah, that will for me that I'll consider that a shock. So I'm going one apiece.
I'm going to say 2-0. Depends on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. If he can't fire, I don't think there's many goals in this team.
No, there is.
Aston Villa at home to Luton. That should be a drubbing, to be honest.
It
Villa have just come off beating and also, by the way, Villa are twatting Alkmaar this evening in the Europa League. They are absolutely on fire. Emery's found his feet. They had that loss to Newcastle and it was like, oh, you're a bit shit. And so it turns out Newcastle already. There's a few anomalies here where teams have a couple of weeks where they're a bit wobbly, but they're finding their footing as well. Villa look all they look all the part, don't they? They look like the part. They look like they're ready for European football again.
Yeah, they actually look like they might be surprise contenders for top four this year. They are doing well. Yeah, I've gone for a very comfortable 3-0. I wouldn't be in the least bit surprised if it's double that, but I'm saying 3-0.
Yeah, Luton are going to get wanked on. Simple as that. Brighton are at home to Fulham. Again, you would expect Brighton at home to be fairly comfortable. I think they'll be relatively comfortable 2-0.
Yeah, I've gone 1-0 Brighton. They look like they've gone a little bit off the boil lately to me, but they'll win it. I can't see there being any other result than a Brighton win. I'm just going for it being a slightly cagey 1-0.
Yeah, Fulham lack quality, don't they? That's the big thing I'm noticing. They lost 2-0 to Tottenham, like as you would expect. They're beating the really shitty teams around them. That's about all they're gonna do. So yeah, I think Brighton have enough. Yeah, Brighton's a bit of a weird one because they are playing some good direct football, but they're getting caught short, aren't they? To be fair to them, like once okay, you lost to Man City.
Yeah.
Poor sample size. I can't really make much from that. So, but I think Brighton will be comfortable against Fulham. Liverpool again, comfortable at home to Nottingham Forest for me, 2-0 again. Just looks like a lot of very comfortable home fixtures this weekend.
It does. I've gone in the same vein. I think Forest will get one of these lucky counter-attack goals. I'm going 3-1. But yeah, I don't see any other result than a Liverpool win. Forest, nice bit of form at the start of the season, but they seem to be dropping off again now, don't they? So yeah,
They're falling
it's
back into the relegation fodder, aren't they? They're going to be in there, around there with teams like Everton, Luton, Fulham, Wolves, Burnley. It's a real pack down there, all chasing each other, all scrapping around. But yeah, you look at, I mean, I think they should just about have enough to stay up. I think it'll be close again. I think it'll be like last season. They might need some heroics. But, especially with Brennan Johnson going as well, that was kind of one of their big quality outlets.
Yeah.
And with him leaving, I don't see them doing a great deal. But they do have that fortress-like mentality at home as well, which should serve them well, especially the back end fans get behind and they're amazing. And the manager, for me, does pretty well. I think he deserves his place. So, Man United at home to Manchester City, the Manchester derby. Again, it's that thing of, all right, United have found a little bit of form. But for me, they haven't beaten anyone worthwhile. And the teams they have beaten, they just scraped past them. They've just scraped past Nottingham Forest. They've just scraped past Brentford. They've just scraped past Sheffield United. Man City are going to be they're out for blood. And Man City can't afford to lose, because obviously they got to keep. Now all of a sudden they're trying to keep pace with Tottenham and Tottenham basically. Tottenham look like the most dangerous team for me. Arsenal, they still haven't lost to their credit. They still haven't lost.
We're not playing now. We're not.
Yeah, they're not playing well in places. No, and that's worrying. But Arsenal are doing what champions do, which is getting results even when they're not playing well. So that they have to get credit for. But I think City are going to make this quite easy. I don't think that Man United have that much quality to stop them. I think City win 3-1.
Yeah, it's exactly what I've gone for as well. And I see the Man U goal being this consolation thing towards the end when the game's already done and dusted as well. I think Man City, they'll cruise into a 3-goal lead, take their foot off the gas near the end, and Man United will pull one back. And yeah, but I can't see anything other than Man City being comfortable there. Going to be pretty pissed off with how recent results have gone and seeing other teams get a little bit of a edge on them. So yeah, they'll be looking to dish it out. And to be fair, Man United, like you said, they haven't got the quality right now, have they? They really haven't.
They're just squeezing past teams. They beat Copenhagen 1-0.
Yeah.
And they're making out, Harry Maguire was back on form. And I'm like, against Copenhagen.
And they had to have a penalty save to make it that scoreline as well.
Yeah, literally, they were praising Onana and Maguire, and it's that says a lot, doesn't it? Really, it's like, Ten Hag found a way. You don't find a way against Copenhagen, you batter them. Same with Arsenal. All right, they lost to Lens, but You just got to win those games. There's
You
no.
have.
Sounds horrible to say. There's no achievement in beating FC Copenhagen. There's not.
No.
Good for them for being in the Champions League, and they got great, amazing home support, by the way, absolutely amazing. They're ferocious, and to be fair, they've produced quite a few decent footballers in their time as well. But it's that thing of it's just a tiny little European side, and we're sort of this medium mentality. Oh, we got to praise Man United because they're a big team, and they've got big money and all this. And it's like I'm not impressed. I think Man City roll them quite comfortably, to be honest. And that rounds out the Premier League fixtures. Any thoughts for this weekend, mate?
No, it looks on paper a slightly more interesting weekend than last weekend, because last weekend I think we were moaning about the fact that it looked really dull.
I can't be
The
honest. I think this
fixtures.
weekend looks duller.
Do you think so? I think there's a couple more interesting fixtures in there this time round, but
I'm looking at these fixtures and I'm thinking, what jumps out at me? Chelsea Brentford certainly looks like it could be quite interesting. That to me looks like the most competitive fixture of the weekend. I'm looking at the rest of them. I expect Man City to be comfortable. I expect Liverpool, Brighton, Aston Villa should all be comfortable. I expect West Ham to be comfortable. Bournemouth and Burnley actually could end up being a bit of a sneaky banger just because it's two teams that desperately need to get a win. Could end up being 3-3 or something hilarious like that. But, is anyone watching Arsenal, Sheffield United expecting an enthralling encounter? As Arsenal labour to a 1-0 win via a penalty.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Jesus.
Let's channel the old 80s Arsenal, 1-0 to the Arsenal. I've got to be honest, I look at very apathetic. Maybe it's because I'm super, super depressed. I don't know. I was just looking at these fixtures and I'm like, it's a bit of apathy there, if I'm being honest. I'm glad I'm working every day on Sunday. Like, I'm curious to see how the Manchester derby goes. If anything, I just want to see Man United get absolutely trounced. Just kind of watch them get utterly destroyed.
Yeah.
But is it good for the league if Man City wins 7-0 and Haaland scores 4 goals? Not necessarily, because then the competitive aspect of it disappears. So teams like yourselves, you probably want Man United to get a result here, right?
Yeah, some kind of a result. I think the one I'm hoping for the most now is Palace getting a result against Spurs. That's the one I really want to see come off. It won't, but
it's the hope that will kill you.
Hope. Yeah, I know.
No, it is what it is. But let us know what you think in the comments below. Let us know your predictions for this weekend. Got any upsets? Anyone fancy Sheffield United to beat Arsenal? Leave it in the comments below so Roger Sears can chastise you on the next podcast. Until then, from myself, Aaron, and from Roger, thank you very much for watching. And we shall resume play, hopefully next week, with some reviews of what's gone on for the weekend.